entrepreneurs, we always tend to focus on wanting to know the right answer. And what I learned
Right.
in life is it is about asking the right question, not about having the right answer. And I think that is a key to starting something, is that just because you don't know how to solve it or what the right answer is doesn't mean you're not the right person.
Right, right, right. So the quality of the questions you ask, or the quality of your life is based off of the quality of the questions you ask, right?
Yes. Yes.
So how can one become better at asking questions, the right questions?
Yeah, I think one thing is not to really be an expert in the field, in the problem you're trying to solve, because once you become an expert, the question you ask are always very tactical. What if, because you know, this will not, I know the foundational knowledge, and you can never challenge that foundational knowledge. That means you tend to always look for a solution before you ask a problem because you're an expert, right? When you talk to a non-expert, he doesn't know that, or she doesn't know what is possible. So what do they say? Why can't we do it this way? An expert's job is to tell you that will never work, right? And when you say, tell me why that will never work, and they start to explain, they say, you know what? Now coming to think of it, it might work. And then you say, can you explain it to me? Why do you think it just might work? And guess what? In 30 minutes later, they're going to come to a conclusion and say, holy shit, that's a great idea. And that to me is really the creative, is that when you can ask the questions and not have to say, I have to look smart. And that is the key. As an entrepreneur, your job is to ask the dumbest question. Why can't we do it this way? Why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? And then push them along to say, explain it to me. And the more they explain, either you understand why it can't be done, or you say, wait a second, I just read a research that this actually is not possible. So your knowledge is 10 years old. Just because it didn't work 10 years ago doesn't mean it won't work now. Let's go ahead and attack it, right? And that is the key, that every single time, now coming back to it, is, you know, I have now started 7 companies, and there have never been 2 companies in the same industry. And the reason for that is because you're able to challenge the foundation. And that doesn't matter to me as an entrepreneur, whether you going to the moon. I'm not a rocket scientist. When I started the computer company, I've never seen a computer in my life. I'm not a computer scientist. My degree is in industrial engineering. What do I know about computers, right? And now I'm doing healthcare. What do I know about healthcare? Except that the problem of chronic diseases can be solved because it's worth solving. And then you can build a team around you to help you, but you don't have to be an expert in that field.
I have a quick question. So we talk about space travel, and you seem super passionate. We talk about healthcare, you're just super passionate, and you mentioned that you had like 7 businesses, all in different industries. Do you just look for like problems to solve? The reason why I'm asking is, you know, for that, you know, 23, 24-year-old who, you know, has a job, wants to start a business, they just don't know what they're truly passionate about, right? I guess like my question is, how are you so passionate about different like industries, and you know what I mean? Is it just the problems? The bigger the problem, you're just passionate about solving problems, or what is it?
So I think, first of all, passion is for losers, right?
Really?
Yeah, the winners have obsession. So you have to find yourself, what are you obsessed about? What is it that you go to sleep thinking about solving? And when you do, you jump out of the bed in the morning thinking, God, I got to solve this problem. In the way you need, that there are 2 ways to find that out, what your true obsession is.
Okay.
Ask yourself, what are you willing to die for? And then live for it, right? And the second thing is really more interesting, is ask yourself that if you had everything you want in your life, you had $1 billion, you had a loving wife, you had a loving family, you have everything you want in your life, what would you do? And if you do that today, you will get everything you want.
So work backwards. Start with the end in mind, and reverse engineer it.
To me, you have to really, the only way you can succeed in business is you have to be truly obsessed about that. You know, I jump out of the bed every day at 4 a.m. because I just say, oh my God, you're giving me so much to live for, right? And I'm never, by the way, I'm never obsessed about, I'm only obsessed about solving that problem. And when I solve that problem, I move on to the next thing, right? So I am now, besides space and healthcare, now guess what? Once I solve this problem, I'm going to be equally obsessed about the next problem, which is maybe agriculture. Because why is it that we have to use the pesticide and insecticide to grow the food? Because at the end of the day, if you can adjust the microbiome of the soil, which is the gut of the soil, then these microbes will get rid of the pathogen. And that's how we used to always did agriculture, that
Right.
have a rich microbial soil, and you never need any insecticide or pesticide. So my point is, you can look at all these, the problem, by the way, you don't think you have to be a genius or a crystal ball to say, oh, I think I have a great idea. You go look at the stuff and say, what are the biggest problems? Here are the biggest opportunity. That's it, right?
Right.